Hello everyone, this is Gary D. Tonicourt from morethanasnapshot.com. Today I wanted to give you a Lightroom tip about using the Luminance slider to restrict your dodging and burning to certain places in your image. So let's head over to Lightroom and we'll take a look. On this image, I might want to do a little bit of dodging and burning. So one thing I might want to do is make the background darker. So I can click on the brush tool and I'll reduce the exposure, and then I'm going to paint over the background. And if I spill a little bit over onto the subject on the edges, that's okay. And I'm going to go over it a few times to make sure that I'm getting good coverage. And I'm getting a pretty dark background now, and that's all right. I'm doing it heavily so that you can really see something happen. So, all right, that's quite a bit darker. And make sure I get in this area. Now, once you've done the painting, you can come down to the bottom of the brush menu where it says Range Mask, and turn it to Luminance. And what you get is this little range slider. So if I wanted the darkening to only occur in the bright parts of the background, in other words, making the bright parts darker, leaving the other parts alone, I can drag the left side over to the right side. And you can see the background is lightening up, but the ovals, the highlights in the background are now darker than they were before. And if I do the before and after, you can see that's how bright they were before, and that's how bright they are now. Alright, I can also put this back. When I put it back, of course, now everything in the background is darker than it was. And if I slide this slider to the left, now it's only applying the darkening to the darker parts of the background. Here you can see. And now the lighter parts are light again. So again, I'll show you the before and the after. So you can see those darker parts are now darker. Alright, but in this image, I'm going to drag this slider a little closer to the middle. And this one a little closer to the middle. And I'm trying to darken more of the midtones. Maybe darken a little more of the bright spots by making it a little bit wider. Alright, I think I like it there. Now I can come back up to the top and get a new brush. And I might want to tone down a few hot spots on the bird. So I get a new brush, and I'm just going to lower this a little bit. And for example, right here is a pretty bright spot. So I'm going to tone that area down. Maybe it needs a bit more. Okay, and again, I can see it spilling over into the blue feathers. So I'm going to come back down to the range mask, change it to luminance. Now, in this case, I only want it to apply to the bright parts of the image, so I'm going to drag this over to the right. Now it will only darken the bright parts of the image. And I might need a little bit more darkening. And a little feathering for smoothness. Alright. Now I'm going to continue dodging and burning. I'm going to get a new brush. And I'm going to darken some parts of the beak with a smaller brush. Just try to bring out a little more detail there. And I'm going to do the same thing. Range mask to luminance. In this case, I want to darken the dark parts of the beak, so I'll drag the slider to the left. And I may even want it a little darker. Let's try. Alright, let's see if we can see the before and after. The changes to the beak are there. They're a little bit more subtle than the background. Okay, now let's add a little bit of highlight and shadow to the feathers. Gonna get a new brush. And first I'm going to try to paint a little bit on the darker feathers, or where I think the dark feathers should be. Highlighting some of those areas. All right. Then I'm going to come down once more. I'm going to come down to my luminance, and I want it applied mostly to the darker feathers, so I'm going to drag it to the left. And then I'm going to do it again. This time I'm going to get a new brush and make things brighter. And I'm going to find some of the lighter feathers and put in some highlights. Maybe more highlights around the eye. Okay, and then I'm going to restrict that to the brighter areas. New brush. I'm going to paint in some of the highlights on some of the brighter feathers. Maybe around the eye a little bit on the beak. Alright. Okay, then I'm going to come down to the range mask, put it on luminance, and restrict it to just the highlights. Alright. And we'll see the before and the after for the whole image. Before and after. So that's how you can use the range mask to help with your dodging and burning. And I hope you try out that little tip. It seems to be very helpful for restricting the brightening or the darkening to certain areas. And I think it'll allow you to be a little bit more creative with your photos. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and like my video. And if you want to be notified of more upcoming videos, please click the little bell icon so you'll know when I upload new videos.